Welcome back to the League of Legends analyst desk at the Intel Extreme Masters World Championships here at CeBIT. Just saw 2 games back-to-back. They were a little bit one-sided. Off-stream, if you didn't see it, IEM did beat Pain. I know that we're all totally shocked by that. You almost fell out of your chair.
Well, it does mean Incredible Miracle is now 1-1 because, of course, they did lose to Blaze in the very first game of the day. And, at least they're even on score with 3 games left to play.
Yep, in the next match, we have FNATIC versus Blaze. We've already seen both teams today. Imagine Blaze is probably feeling pretty good, actually, after watching that last match.
Yeah, I'd imagine so. They're going to be pretty confident going into this. FNATIC are looking shaky. They maybe not properly awake yet. So very early, these gamers like to lay in. We know that much. But it is a rematch. We have gone over this. Katowice, semi-finals. Azubu Blaze won that 2-1. It was a tight series. FNATIC did put on a good showing. So they know each other. They have had ideas. They've been able to research each other a little bit. Blaze perhaps more, as we mentioned earlier. But FNATIC are looking out for revenge. And especially after that last game, they're going to be looking out to prove themselves again.
Now, I had the pleasure of actually talking to the FNATIC members over the weekend and, chatting to them about CeBIT and spoke to them about the Intel Extreme Masters World Championships and said, well, how are you guys going to prepare for this? And they pretty much said, well, Monday and Tuesday is our research days. Because they were leading up to the Super Week over the weekend and, the leagues at home, so to speak, and the fact that it's year long, they pretty much just said it's difficult for time. And the Korean teams, they actually hide their strategies fairly well. Their scrims and their practices, it's quite difficult to find that information. And if they haven't played in something like NOGN or something like, another big league, it's fairly difficult to find results. So we'll see how well FNATIC have prepared for them. They've got at least 1 game worth of information to draw from this morning already.
Yeah, FNATIC are one of the teams that boot camp and train and research the best as far as Europe is concerned. They always seem to go away 2-3 weeks before tournaments and then come back out again looking like a completely new team, destroying people, just knowing how they work inside and out. Same thing can be said for SK in actual fact. There was a big thing for a long time. Arsenal got flamed. He was a terrible player. He streamed a lot. He was never any good in tournaments. They went in, everyone's like, it's SK, but it never happened. But then he'd go away. He'd stop streaming for 3 weeks. They'd train with his team, go for hardcore practice, and they'd come out and they'd destroy everyone. And Ocelot would play amazing. And it happened. And at the moment, for streaming options, he hasn't streamed recently. They've been training. They've been playing with his team for LCS and the likes, and his play has improved, and we've seen it for it.
4-1 over the weekend as well. So, the team bounced back from the problems that they had, and, they did relatively well. If you guys are on any social media, Twitter is the primary means of getting in touch with us. Use that hashtag IEM, and we're going to want to know right now, who's going to win the next matchup? I'm going to ask you guys, who's going to win the next matchup, Blaze or FNATIC?
Blaze.
Gotta go with Blaze too.
Well, they've got the track record, and they played very, very well in game 1. They pretty much stomped Incredible Miracle, and FNATIC looking a little bit shaky. But FNATIC, one of the few teams that actually have the ability to actually challenge the Koreans. So we'll see how well that goes.
And revenge is a great motivator.
Revenge is a very good motivator. Yeah. You could see their faces at the end of the game. FNATIC, like they didn't get out of their chair after the game. We saw on screen there during the pauses, during the little bit of the hiccup, were not looking happy with themselves. They will have all grouped up. As I mentioned, Harry's here. He's been with them a long time, their manager. He's going to give them a pep talk, going to give them a bit of a team talk, a bit of motivation, and we're going to have grouped up. What do we do wrong? What can we do better? What kind of strategy we can run? To be honest, I don't think their team comp was an issue, anything to do with that.
Yeah.
People are giving N-rated lots of stick for playing Sona. Hasn't had the greatest track record on Sona. Yes, LCS this weekend, Copenhagen Wolves is that big one which everyone noticed. Ultimate just went completely in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
I want to point out the fact that was as much Svenskeren as it was in rated, because that was a beautifully timed Xin Zhao ultimate to turn him around and push him away.
Yeah.
But again, he's going to have issues. He might not be the best Sona in the world, but he's not a bad Sona.
No, not at all. And, these players as well, we really harp on the small mistakes that they make because we have the ability to sit here in perfect 2020 hindsight and say, oh, you should have done that. You should have done that. When you're in the pressure and you see teleport coming in and you see stuff happening and people jumping on you immediately and all you're thinking about is don't die, don't die, don't die, it becomes a bit difficult to make 100% accurate objective decision making.
Yeah, exactly. He wouldn't be here. They wouldn't be at the World Finals if the majority of his decisions were correct. So give them some slack. They're there. Their comp was good. If they go with that again, we'll see. They might have some other things up their sleeve, but we have seen a lot of Volibear out of Cyanide with that teleport. We've seen a lot of Cassidy out of Peke. Soaz has been changing his up a little bit more than others, but still, those are their fallback champions. So we wouldn't be surprised to see those again. We are actually now with 9 players. It is 9. Yeah, waiting for one from FNATIC. Where are you?
Yes, there we go.
Unrated.
So we are in the game. We're just waiting to get into picks and bans. This time around, Blaze have blue side once again. So being a little bit lucky with those coin tosses. And Jarrett made a
Maybe there's a skill. They're Korean, man. Maybe he's watching the number of flips and knows when to catch it. You never know.
It is all probabilities, all numbers. They could do that.
Well, there's a 50% chance of it going either way. Oh, yeah. We throwing down the mat.
I was going to suggest that they do rock, paper, scissors. I think
Rock,
that
paper,
would-
scissors
and then we could actually
stage.
televise that. It'd be
Yep.
fun. Yeah, rock, paper, scissors. The captains, rock, paper, scissors to go. Wouldn't that be a better system?
Best
I
of 3,
completely
rock,
do
paper,
that.
scissors. Shocks referee in it.
Best of 3, ching chong cha, in you go. Done, done, done. I like it. Then there's some actual, tactical play there as well.
Absolutely.
Cyanide is looking very tired.
Take a look at the FNATIC members, actually. They're looking a bit nervous, a little bit stressed. You can see, not the smiles and the happy faces that we do tend to see out of them. But we do have a majority of the players in the lobby, and it's just a matter of time before we get these picks and bans on the way. Do you expect to see something like a Rumble pick the ban again? I mean, we've seen it 2 out of the games on stream 1 here. It was a bit surprising.
I honestly don't think we will. I don't think FNATIC are going to ban it because it's not something they really seem to fear. It's not something that was really an issue in that last game. It was not the Rumble that was the problem. Blaze won't ban it because it's not something that the FNATIC really play. It's not something they're going to research.
Yeah.
It's not something that you're going to see in their strategy, so it would be a wasted ban. I mean, there's a chance so as will pull it out of the bag, which we said time and time again. He is that innovator. He does do brand new things over and over again, but Rumble's not brand new. It might be new to him, but honestly, they haven't had time to practice it. Where would he have had that chance? So
Yeah.
I really don't expect to see Rumble show up in any form in this one.
Yeah, so true.
Join us, again, if you didn't hear earlier, we have a Raid Call channel. Raid Call has joined us as a big sponsor here at the Intel Extreme Masters. We have a channel set up. It's channel 1997. It's like probably the birth date of the guy who set the channel up, because that seems young to me, but maybe not to you guys. Join us there. We can listen to you. You guys can chat and bring that Twitch chat to a whole new level.
Yeah, and actually I want to touch on that as well, because we've got moderators and we've got people here, staff members actually monitoring and looking
Yes.
at it. And there's a number of questions that's going out. We're trying to encourage, discussion and debate within the channel itself. And it's a safer place than some of the other chat locations that are familiar with online streaming. And we got an awesome question here that actually said, the game where FNATIC lost to Millennium, many are talking about it, saying it's an upset because, of course, it's an LCS team losing to a non-LCS team. Was it bad decisions or bad picks? That's what they're talking about right now. You've heard our thoughts,
Bad decision.
It was decision-making in-game. I think, FNATIC really didn't execute their strategy. But it does look like we're about to get this match underway. I wonder if we're going to see a Shen or a Rise ban coming out, because those champions are really, really game-changing in their abilities. Shen can join a party with it stand united. We were talking about in Game 1 how powerful that shield is, and even if the teleport doesn't come through, it's just completely game-changing in terms of your team fights. Rise, a champion that you never want to get fed or farmed, because he just becomes an unkillable monster.
Rise is a good champion, but I don't think he's ban-worthy. I don't expect to see that in there. Peke has more than enough champions in his pool that can stop that champion. Shen, on the other hand, will be banned or picked. One of the two. I'm 90% sure on that one. The Koreans and the Asian teams have been falling back on Shen for months and months and months through patch after patch after patch. And there's no reason to change that now. FNATIC themselves can run it too, so can run a Shen in that top lane. Or Cyanide can jungle it. Not as common, but it can do it.
We actually seen him using jungle Shen quite a bit earlier in the year, pre-LCS, before some of the changes to Season 3 and people getting into the rhythm of that, so we have seen that quite a lot. And I imagine Kayle is also going to be hotly contested, because Kayle, again, a champion that you can see everywhere, and every single team actually can pick them out. It was actually banned against Blaze in Game 1, if I recall.
It was. LGIM banned that out straight away. It was their second ban.
Yeah.
I'll go out on a limb. I think FNATIC will ban Thresh coming in, and I think that they're all still sitting uncomfortably in their chairs from what Thresh did in the last game, and in the hands of a team like Blaze, I imagine they could do wonderful things with Thresh. And we saw the ban in the first game between the two Korean teams. I would expect that ban.
Yeah, again, that was an LGAM ban again. That was their ban against Lost Boy. And I mean, we've seen what many people do. We've seen what Abel can do with it. We've seen what Fat Mama can do, which I can't get over the fact of how impressed I was with his Thresh. There was some big plays coming out of that. Lost Boy, one of the best supports in Asia. That for a reason. Picking up Thresh, picking up that new champion with some of the things Captain Jack can do. As I mentioned before, he's so good with his fingers. He's just
His reaction times are awesome. He's good with his fingers. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Intel Extreme Masters bringing you all the news. While we're talking about the teams, let's actually get the team sheets up for, of course, CJ enters Blaze. The old Azubu Blaze, but it's the same players, just under a new brand. And they're doing the new home very, very well. You know, stomping game 1 victory. And we'll see how they do now against FNATIC.
A little bit worried with what Henry to do. I mean, we can see the FNATIC players there sitting behind the stage. There's the team sheet. Flame, Helios, Ambition, Captain, Jack, and Lust Boy. Helios has been in that jungle and been there and been a dominant force out in Korea for so long. Like, it's a name we remember talking back at IPL 5, a couple of months back down to November, even back before that, the OGN season, the OGN summer. The very strong, solid jungler. And now that he's started to pick up some of these new champions, we saw him play Volibear in the last game. I'm going to go on out of limb, maybe not as far out on a limb as possible, but Volibear will be in this game.
Yeah,
I don't think he's going to be
other.
banned. He's not exactly ban-worthy, but he will be picked by one of these two teams.
Now, I'm thinking back as well in terms of the picks and bans. Blaze actually banned out Jarvan against Incredible Miracle, and it was replied by, I think it was Thresh was ban number 1 from Incredible Miracle against Blaze. So we'll see if something similar is going to be mirrored. We do see a little bit of Jarvan over here in EU, but not exactly something that the FNATIC members, you know, dive into in every single game.
No, we saw Balluno and Izzy Dragonborns running at the weekend to quite some effect. We've seen a couple of others into it. Tarek Jarvan is a very popular strategy by some of the other teams. I mean, speaking to a lot of teams at LCS, they were actually considering Tarek Jarvan to be a little bit of a no-brainer strategy. Because at the moment when you have those lane swaps and you have that 3-minute, 3-man dive in the top 10,
just the
top
armor.
Lane, yeah, it's the massive amount of armor so you can face tank. It's a non-skill shot stun that you can land. Then a follow-up knock-up is easy to land, and that's a very easy first blood in a tower. More and more teams are expecting it, they're warding for it, they're not getting caught out in by these.
SK did the same. SK did exactly the same, except they were on the bottom lane, and it was it was just a well-coordinated gank, well-coordinated dive. So we'll see if they decide to run that sort of Tarek Jarvan. There's a lot of talk about Jarvan at the moment. He was used a lot in NA, and we had some European supports a bit outspoken about whether they like or dislike the character, because he offers a lot of power, but it's sort of easy to do. You know, you click somebody, they get stunned, you press W and, you know, you hurt them a little bit, and you just become an aura bot effectively.
I don't want to talk too much about the live patch because we're not playing on it, but Tarek on 303 has become a very powerful and popular top lane and jungler now that the slightly changes have gone through there. So in the next couple of weeks we should see some very interesting things from that guy, but again, that's not in this game.
All right, well, FNATIC has joined the game now. We'll quickly take a look at their team sheet, go over their players again.
And of course it is so as Cyanide, X-Pecker, Yellow Star, and Enrated. And I think we need to, definitely have to touch on this. Enrated's going to be the one that we have to keep our eyes on for this particular matchup. A few questionable decisions getting caught out a little bit, and crescendos that could have been used to better effect. So I think there's a lot of pressure on him at the moment coming into this game. So we should be into the picks and bans very, very quickly. And it is, of course, going to be CJ Enters Blaze versus FNATIC. A team that is 1-0 going up against a team that is 0-1.
That first ban from CJ Enters Blaze.
So, in terms of what it is, Nami has actually been banned out for Blaze. They do not want to deal with a fish lady, removed her from the game, and immediately FNATIC respect ban taking out Thresh.
Nami, she was recently buffed a little bit. The missile speed on her stun has been upped. She's not as easy to dodge anymore. She got a little bit more of a base movement speed so she can move around in that lane a bit more. She had a lot of power before the buffs in her W, in her heal and her sustain. It was good harass, it was good sustain at the same time. The same cast would heal, would damage and then heal. That was very powerful. Now that she's got that extra movement speed, now that she's got the extra missile speed on her stun, she can be very, very strong. However, why would you ban it against FNATIC? They have either been keeping that very, very well hidden to everyone except Blaze, or Blaze have a specific strategy here that Nami's going to work against.
Following that,
well, they banned Caitlyn, which is a targeted ban.
Correct, for Captain Jack.
My man, Captain Jack. The reason I play Graves, Captain Jack.
Yes.
And then they did ban Ryze.
They did.
Yeah, so interesting Ryze to see gone, but now this is what blows my mind.
That's what they left open.
Twisted Fate, Shen, Kayle, Leona, all of these super high priority picks. Yes, Zhao as well. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Leona pick coming out of FNATIC. I know for a fact that is Enrated sort of go-to champion, is what he's most comfortable on, and it suits his playstyle as well. The problem is if you do decide to lock that in, there are so many other champions. And I mean, we completely forgot about Vi. Vi was banned against FNATIC, wasn't it, by Millennium?
Yeah, Millennium banned it against FNATIC, but it was left completely open in the first game with the two Korean teams, which not completely unheard of. The Koreans don't seem to be quite as in love with Vi as the Europeans and the Americans are. So
and
they've got something else up their sleeve. They also swap in Cyanide can juggle that, as well as Peke could do in the mid. They've got so many strong champions to choose from here. These bans have left so much open that it's just a case of what do we go with first? What do we leave them with? And they've got 5 seconds to make their mind up with it. Yeah. Taking that KO early
second Misfortune, man. Wasn't it Blaze that banned Misfortune in the first game of the day against IEM?
I don't know. It might have been Millennium against FNATIC.
It was Millennium against FNATIC.
They just want to take that away from Yellow Star.
Yeah.
And you see, again, you've just got so many high priority picks here. We were talking the names, Shane, Kale, Leona, etc. So we'll see now what CJ Enters decide to lock in. Varus is sort of the AD carry that is rising to prominence right now. Is getting more and more and more play, and it's just so powerful. And you can see already, Ambition is cycling through the picks. We've seen Sona, we've seen Xin, we've seen Varus. There's so many things available. It's like a kid in a toy store saying, I want, and trying to think, well, if we pick this, they'll pick that. And it's just this very, very difficult chess game at the moment.
Varus has that very valuable percentage health damage, and there's a lot of health being built in Season 3 right now, and it's a natural counter. And I think that's probably the reason we've seen. And that in the Blight Crystal skin is so sexy.
Yeah.
that's how I roll,
so
too.
So is the Arclight skin, the newest one?
It's all right. A little feminine, maybe, for me.
Personal taste, I suppose. Personal taste. I like the Arclight. He looks like a good guy instead of the bad guy. But so it does look like he's going to lock in that Xin Zhao and of course Lu. So we're probably going to see once again that rush for the locket of the Iron Solaria and just a very, very aggressive, jungle ganks coming out of Xin.
We have two very strong engages there with both teams. You look at the early pick Shen, which we mentioned earlier. He can ultimate onto Vi, who will Vault Breaker through the enemy team, lock on with his Sultan Battery onto a squishy AD carry at the backside, or onto Flame, in fact, with his Twisted Fate, pull himself all the way through, knock him back as he goes, knock them up, knock him down. Shen arrives, lands on there with it, and you have two very strong, high damage, tanky members of the FNATIC team in and amongst CJ Enter's Blaze. You've then got a response from them with Xin Zhao charging in, Lulu ultimate, knocking everyone up. So they both have very strong engages on that, but they have left open and allowed and rated to pick up his Blitzcrank.
Beep boop. Beep boop.
Beep boop. Beep.
The question is now, is this going to be in rated running Blitzcrank, or is there going to be some funny business going on and maybe Soa is trying to play it? Because I don't think it's a possibility. I think they're leaving the final counter pick for the mid lane.
It's just going to be mid lane picked by Rated, and he's going to switch it straight with Peke there. Other than that, everyone's got their own champions.
And Sinch has been locked in.
Flame has his Singed.
And Captain Jack is playing Tristana.
Well, top lane is going to be incredibly boring.
You did say it. At the beginning of the day, you were talking, are we going to see Tristana? Are we going to see her? And she's been pulled out.
And privately, it was Captain Jack who I wanted to see players so
This
badly.
is going to be a masterclass.
The thing that's amazing about...
Do you want to take notes?
Sure, I'm going to need 2 pens for this game, man.
Fiddling with the pens. But now the question is, with 20 seconds left on the clock, how does Xpeke want to counter this Twisted Fate? Destiny, of course, is going to play such a huge role in split pushing, keeping the map under control and moving around. Does lock in the Diana, so going to go very, very aggressive and try to pick up some kills in that lane most likely. But you've got two very big map presence champions in the form of Singed and in the form of Twisted Fate. The split pushing that they're going to offer, that Ghost and that Insanity Potion, you're not going to be able to stick to Singed. But if there's anybody that's going to be able to chase, I mean, you've got Shen that can lock him up, you've got Vi that can dive, you've got Diana that can dive, and even Blitzcrank that says, well, no, don't run away, come to me, have a rocket grab, because I just want to shake your hand.
There's a lot of scary engages there on that FNATIC team. CJ are going to have to be very, very careful as and where they move. One person slightly on the other side of a cliff, or one person just off to one side, is immediately going to get a Sultan Battery on them, or a Shen Taunt on them, or a grab on them from Unrated, and it's going to become a 5v4 fight very quickly. Draven has a lot of burst damage, Vi has a lot of burst damage, and Xpeke's Diana has a massive amount of burst damage. And with Ambition teleporting all over the map from level 6, Peke's got a great pick there with Diana to follow him, to chase him, to keep him down. Since they rebuffed, or reset, shall we say, her ultimate has a bigger range in it again. She can come in, clean up fights using that reset on her Moonfall, Crescent Strike and Lunar Rush, using that reset, using the Moonfall to pull them in. She can lock people down and clean up games.
Well, the game is loading. Our casters are ready, the fans are ready, the players are ready. I am so stoked to see Captain Jack play Tristana and see how this game plays out. Going to give away the casters Lee, Demon Smith, and Jason Kaplan. Good luck, have fun.
Yes, welcome ladies and gentlemen. We are about to get underway here. It is the Intel Extreme Masters World Championships. It's the third game of the day. If you've not caught any of the matches, you've missed out, because earlier on we had CJ enters Blaze on your screen right there to the left, and a dominating performance against LGIM, and FNATIC already one down against Millennium. Big shocks already, certainly for FNATIC, not so much for Blaze. Blaze coming into this one now the hot favourites, I think it's safe to say. And that's not really meant to be a pun on the Blaze name, but as it is, we are underway. Well, the blue team, of course, will be CJ Enters Blaze, and the red team will be FNATIC. Should be on your screen any second now. There they are. Everybody's setting up. We do have a Blitzcrank. We do have a Draven from FNATIC, as well as Soaz on Shen, Cyanide, of course, on that Vi. Going to be interesting to see. So both teams have kind of got out what they wanted, and the hook comes straight in there. Helios goes down. First blood for Yellowstar.
And what an explosive beginning to an exciting game. I don't think anyone on CJ Blaze actually expected that to happen. It was actually a great ward over the wall to spot them coming in. And FNATIC, or sorry, not FNATIC, and Rated, you can't give him that Blitzcrank. He's just going to pull you every single time and create opportunities for his team. And Demon, I am...
Look at that, straight away. Doran's Blade Boots. It's going to be a tough start.
Oh, yeah, especially when you're against a Draven. I mean, that is just dangerous. Tristana is, decently good. Obviously not really good until that late game, but the range on her E as she keeps leveling up is going to help quite a bit for some harassment. And I don't know about you, Demon, but I'm really excited to see Singed again.
And I'm excited to see a lot of these champions. Yeah. Honestly, there's ambition on Twisted Fate. Twisted Fate is always banned against Koreans, yeah. So they were so obviously excited to get that one. Shinzao in jungle definitely been banned out pretty heavily in League of Legends Championship Series lately. Singed in there from Flame. Obviously, we used to see Shy with that, but Singed in there with Flame this time. Lustboy, of course, he's just a god, frankly, on Lulu. There's no other word for it. I remember seeing his performance at MLG Dallas was just simply astounding on Lulu. Some of the things he came out with, but Draven is in there. Draven's been big in the LCS lately. Very much a strong champion. We've seen, of course, Hosan running it so strongly. This bottom lane, look at it. They're staring each other down in the bushes. Is Soaz about to go across? Is Captain Jack going to go for it? Who's going to be the first one to bite? It's going to be Captain Jack picking up the CS. And Soaz just doesn't want to go pick up the CS. He just wants to farm out that experience. Staying very aggressive. The hook dodge from Enrated there. That is going to be settling down. So, lanes, Jason. How do we fare? We have split lanes again, as always, between these teams. Blitzcrank, Draven versus a Singed. Is Singed going to have to be very careful here? And of course, Shen kind of like the perennial, almost always pick 2v1 laner.
Yeah, it's going to be very annoying to go up against that. But then again, you have a Twisted Fate, so if Shen comes in, you can obviously come in with him as well. But, Sin, she's used to just running past you, farming behind your own turret, and when you have a Blitzcrank to pull you, to knock you up, not to mention the knock away from Draven, you're really not going to escape that combo, especially early on when you have those boots.
In the jungle, Lulu has been spotted there. Just seen whether he was going towards it, wards out the blue. I thought Cyanide may go for it, but no.
And speaking of those wards, looking at FNATIC's jungle right now, how many wards they have down. They have a pink ward over towards the race. They just wanted to make sure there's no vision from CJ Blaze's side, because they really wanted to control that red. They wanted to start off there, and they also warded up the enemy blue. So I was expecting, maybe FNATIC was going to make a play on that. However, they didn't, so they invested a lot into wards early on. We have Cyanide coming around this mid lane. He wants to make something happen.
He wants to go in towards Ambition. He is going to charge up. Can he get onto him? Yes, he does. Gets the knock up. He's going to get taken down very low. Stun card will come out, though. How will it happen on the turret? He didn't even get a chance to pull it. That's Cyanide picking up the kill.
And that is the strength of Vi. That's why you have to ban her out. She's so strong early on, puts out so much damage, and not to mention with that red buff, you're not really going to escape that. And Demon, I was taking a look at runes real quick while we were, going over the game, and Captain Jack's running 4% lifesteal, so he has a couple of quints in there to get that. And also Lustboy, which is really interesting to me. As you see under tower.
Taunt on the turret. Captain Jack taking 2 tower hits there. Very nicely done from Soaz. Timed it out nice.
And Lustboy is running 9 flat armor pen and 10 flat spell pen, so he really wants to harass as much as possible with his Lulu. And I've never actually seen someone kind of rune a support that way.
Lustboy is actually the one player, I should say, that I actually saw take Frozen Mallet. We heard, obviously, N-Rated talking about it. When you get such an advantage early on, you want to take that Frozen Mallet sometimes on Lulu, and he was the man that did it at Dallas. As it is, though, we'll see how it progresses. Captain Jack taking a few too many hits for his liking. They've backed up, and they're going to reset and try and freeze out this lane. Keep Soaz away from the experience. He's already up to level 4 versus the level 2s, and he's keeping the pressure on towards Captain Jack here. But Lustboy, you see, putting that Glitter Lance back down and keeping him at bay.
And, you know, speaking of past history between these teams, they played IPL 5, which I don't know if you cast the exact game, but we saw FNATIC play against Blaze, and FNATIC won that game, but that was with Reckless, obviously. And then at the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice, we saw FNATIC take on Blaze in the semifinals, where it went to a 3-game series where Blaze actually came out ahead in that. So overall, it's 2-2, and this is, I have to say, a grudge match between these teams because they want to come out ahead in that overall their overall match standing.
Yeah, non-stop pressure here on Soaz coming out from Lustboy, really working him down. You can see Helios ready and waiting to go. They're going to try and pressure on towards his turret. They do have Cyanide coming round. Again, the taunt comes in. Soaz kind of baited into this one. They're going to go aggressive. Helios will catch him down. Have they got enough to turn him back around? The turret hit on Captain Jack. It's going to be Cyanide that picks up the revenge kill, and that is what they needed to do. They were ready and waiting for that one. Meanwhile, you can see Flame getting pressured in the top lane.
And I was just taking a look at why Captain Jack didn't jump away. He had the mana for it, but I just kind of think he blinked out there. That was a little bit of an interesting choice by him, but a great job by FNATIC to pick up that kill and pick it up a 1-for-1 down there.
And the pressure's staying on this top lane. Meanwhile, the mid lane, very much even between the two in terms of CS. In actual fact, there is an advantage for Ambition, despite the fact it's Peke with that kill earlier on, with Cyanide obviously helping out. But there's a massive CS shift, a big difference. Yellow Star versus Captain Jack right now, 48-29.
Yeah, and I mean, we see Yellowstar sitting on 1,300 gold, so when he backs, he's just going to be just so annoying for Singe.
Peke going aggressive on towards Ambition. He's going to have Helios coming around though, so Peke in all sorts of trouble now. He's going to run away. He's got the Ignite. Can he get the Crystal Swipe? Will he try and turn it back around? No, he won't. He's going to go down. Eventually uses the shield. Is he going to try and flash away? No, he doesn't have that at his disposal, and instead just draws them away and finally goes down. CJ enters Blaze, picking up a kill.
Yeah, unfortunately, expect it overextend just a little bit, and we see Ambition now actually is level 6. We do see just Flame trying to survive up here. Does get a nice flip on a Yellow Star, but in the end, not going to really keep him locked down.
It was a great flip, put him straight in towards that tower. 2 tower hits, a lot of poison damage on towards him. It's going to force him to back away and maybe pick up an item. We do see Boots of Mobility being picked up by Cyanide already, so he's going to be zipping around that map. There's the Boots of Mobility for Helios in straight turnaround, and that is the first tower of the game for Blaze.
And a nice little advantage for them. We do have Flame, you know, he's doing decently well. He has over double the CS of Soaz, even though Soaz was killed at the bottom lane. But, you know, that's what Singe can do. If he can, you know, farm up a decent amount and then get a lane to himself, he's just going to be such a nuisance later on. We've seen it happen in LCS. We've seen it happen, well, you know, with Dyers from TSM. You just cannot kill a Singe and you can't chase one. Ambition is 6 now, hasn't really ganked a lane just yet, but they're trying to go for a gank on him.
They're going for Ambition. Here they go. Here comes Cyanide straight on towards him, but Helios is here in his response. Assault battery comes down, but they should have enough to finish off Ambition. Ambition taking very low, but you can see Peke, 3-talent strike ready and waiting, but Helios can't catch on towards him.
Oh,
he's going to move full. Surely the Shed Ultimate, Stand United coming in. Helios running for his life now. Cyanide just missing out. They tries to turn it around, pick anything up. It's not going to happen. Soaz gets the kill.
Great job by FNATIC, picking up a 2-for-0 right there.
Blue.
And they're going to, deny that blue away. We had those wards down, and Raid is going to help give him that vision. And great play overall from FNATIC. Yellowstar all alone in that top lane as Captain Jack coming down to spot this.
Captain Jack trying to come around. He's trying to put the pressure down on towards Cyanide. Has he got enough, or is he putting himself in danger? You're going to see the Power Fist come out there. He gets the hook, and now Captain Jack, you're going to see Soaz coming around. He has to launch himself away. Twisted Fate going to come back in. Ambition, he's only going back to mid turret.
And even that Draven ulti coming in there to potentially pick up that kill, but a great start for FNATIC, 2-5 now. They are down that turret, but they have the ability to take this top turret as soon as they want to, I have to say, because Draven has a huge advantage over Trist, and then potentially go for that dragon, which I'm a little bit surprised it actually hasn't been contested just yet. It's a little bit early, yes, but we did have the 80 carry and support for Blaze down at that bottom lane.
Well, we do see Captain Jack, like you mentioned, up this top lane now, so that's going to actually delay things. Oh, the hook, though, comes straight in, and Rated gets the Power Fist. Is it going to be enough? Yellowstar caught out there. He is going to get the hit down. 3-talent strike comes in. Should it be enough? Oh, Yellowstar goes down, and now Enrated's in trouble. Wild Growth pops him in the air, and you should see Helios picking this one up. He tries to turn it back around. Power Fist on Helios, delaying things, but now they're diving in the mid lane. Flame on towards Cyanide. Cyanide gets flipped. He's in the poison. The Ignite running. Is it going to be enough? Yes, it is. Flame picks up the kill.
And double buffs on top of that. What a great play, actually, to start off with FNATIC, as he should be able to escape this.
They're chasing Flame down. He's going to run away here. So as he's tracking him, as is Peke. Peke comes around. If he wants Crescent Strike, the ward goes down. He will catch it, gets the moonfall, but Helios comes straight back back in, and now the poison ticking around. Shadow Dash comes in. Is it going to be enough? The Ignite running on Flame. Flame goes down. Now you can see Peke. He's going to run for it. Lust Boy now getting closed in by Soaz, but they all back away. 7-5 currently the kill score.
And the game just blew up completely right there. And I wanted to go back onto that fight we saw on the top end where we did see Tristana get caught. The stand aside throwing out a Draven stopped Trista's rocket jump to get away. We do see it actually diving onto Soaz again on this top side.
So as Shadow dashes away, but the stun card comes out from Ambition. A 3-ton strike bounces him in the air. They turn and walk away with the Ignite doing the kill.
And with CJ Blaze, behind, I've caught up quite a bit right now. It's 6-7. They will be able to get this another turret into their pockets, but this game is getting really hectic, team, and really fast.
Well, they have the gold advantage currently with that turret down, of course. It's a 2k gold lead. That second tower nearly going down. Everybody backing away. Peke picking up his own blue buff. And we do see Yellow Star actually pressuring the mid lane. As it stands, though, FNATIC need to pick up some turrets here, because I've seen this happen so many times against the Korean teams. They will grind you down. They will take those global objectives on the outer lanes, and slowly but surely you will be pressed into your base. So how will they respond to this one? Well, you do see Peke coming down the bottom lane to keep on pressuring, but Flame seems to be that unstoppable troll machine that is Singed.
And he has a Catalyst and a Tear. He's going to be going for that Seraph's Embrace, not to mention that Rod of Ages. He's going to have a lot of actual magic damage onto his kit, which is kind of surprising to see such an aggressive build on Singed when you're already in a 1v2 lane. But FNATIC going for this Dragon right now. We even have Tristan Lulu pushing this top side, so we're going to probably see a turret for a Dragon.
Yep, there's the turret, there's the Dragon. Trade is done. Captain Jack with Lust Boy continues pressuring that top lane, so as trying to keep them at bay. And there is the Twin Shadows coming out from Ambition. First item completed. We've seen it so often. It works so wonderfully well on Twisted Fate. Gives him that extra bit of crowd control. How are they going to be able to four-man siege this middle turret? Lust Boy's making his way down to try and help out, but we do have that creep wave coming in. And they could, well, collapse on them from every direction. There you go. Helios with the ultimate. He's going to have a 3-ton strike. N-rated power fist him in the air. Move falls him back. N-rated's going to get taken incredibly low, as is Yellow Star. Yellow Star goes down as Captain Jack comes in. You can see Peke. He's going to get dropped. Soaz now in trouble. He's standing out in it. Has to flash away, but Captain Jack pursues. He's going to be able to jump straight on his head. Cyanote's going to come in. The glue goes down. The stun card comes out. Soaz goes down. It's 10-8 to CJ enters Blaze.
And FNATIC just got completely outplayed right there. I'm really surprised, because we saw Captain Jack and Lust Boy coming down from the top lane. Like, they had a ward on that. They knew that was happening. They knew Flame was down towards that bottom side, and yet they didn't leave. They got caught, lost 4 members, and they're going to lose this turret.
Well, Blaze are just storming through FNATIC now. That turret will go down. That's going to be the 4th one of the game. And they are just demolishing everything, every objective they can find. And FNATIC up against it here. Already 1-0 down against Millennium. 2-0 would be a devastating start for them. But Blaze are not a team to be trifled with, and are looking very strong here.
And the thing was, FNATIC had such a great start in this game. At First Blood, they had their own jungle. They even had a couple more kills after that. But Blaze, that just shows you, like, if you give them that small advantage, they're going to open that wide up and completely take the advantage against you. And we really have to say, it was great job by Blaze overall, in just terms of map awareness and baiting the team in, knowing when to go in and try to get FNATIC out of position.
Well, you see Soaz here, stood in the bush. Flame just building up before him. Now they're going to try and go for him. They have a huge creep wave there, though. They do manage to shadow dash across it, missed, and he just walks away. And that is the power of Flame.
That's the power of Singed. Look what he did. He drew 3 members over into that lane, which pretty much gives the rest of his lanes, if they were pushing, that ability to do it and get those turrets. It's really looking bad, because Shen, you want to split push with him, but he doesn't have the items to do it. He can't go head to head against anyone on Blaze anymore at this point. And we have just huge CS differences building up across the map. We have in the jungle 53 to 37 CS. Cyanide does have that lead there with those 2 kills, that 1 death and 3 assists. But in the mid lane, Demon, 107 to 67. And you're against a Twisted Fate who has that passive, has an extra 2 gold per minion kill. That is really not a good sign. You don't want to see a Twisted Fate, especially Ambition, get ahead on him.
Yeah, and of course the top lane is, like you mentioned, the fact that Flame is so far ahead, he can't split push. It just takes away that entire tactic. And now Yellow Star caught out. Stun card dropped where he stands. Tries to use the barrier, but honestly, it was just a futile gesture. Completely caught out by Ambition. And this is what we've talked about with the Korean teams. They get that advantage. They crush you down. Gambit do it so well as well. But as it stands, the European teams need to adjust to this, because once they give them that small advantage, which sometimes they used to being able to get away with, it is not going to work in these Korean dominating times.
And that's something that confuses me, is because FNATIC, the way they played it in the beginning, they had Blaze like figured out. They knew exactly what they were doing. They got the first blood. They put even pink wards down to prevent them from coming in, and yet they just don't seem to have that knowledge as the game progresses on. Blaze is just completely taking advantage. Capjack does get pulled on a turret.
Oh, what a great hook! Just as he was leaping away, the tower finished him off. Here comes the Draven ultimate on towards Ambition. Can they follow it through? Peke's going to chase. He's going to try and catch on towards Lustboy. Pulls the ward down, but a great glitter lance on towards Peke. Stops him where he stands. Meanwhile, you do see Cyanide try to dash in. Turns around. The ignite's going to be enough. The minions are going to put the damage down, and that's a pickup for Ambition. Fantastic kill there. They are going to dive in. The move ball pulls them all in there, and Rated manages to get the hook, but he doesn't want it because Helios turns around and puts the damage down. Peke's going to go down the 3-talent strike, and now FNATIC in all sorts of trouble. They thought they were on the kill, but it was all in against them, and now you see Yellowstar in trouble. Stan United used simply to save himself there to get away from Flame, because Flame was putting the damage down, and that saves him just about. Lustboy still hanging around, throwing out that glitter lance, and Helios, they are still pincered here, and Captain Jackie's returning.
And overall, that was a 3v1 for Blaze. I mean, we saw actually Flame in the bot lane when that entire fight was going on. 1v1 Soaz pretty much from 100 almost to 0 at that point. And then we saw Soaz actually leave and gives him that ability to push that lane in. Blaze is just playing like a finely tuned machine right here, even potentially taking away this blue buff here, And we see Singe, Rod of Ages is done. It is starting to stack. We see the tier almost fully capped out. How do you stop Flame? I mean, you don't have the damage, you don't have the ability to lock him down, and if he's building pure damage, you can't even chase him.
Well, we saw SK Gaming at the Season 2 Regionals trying to do a similar thing to Shy when he was playing the Singed. As it is, Flame on Singed seems unstoppable as well. Peke trying to pick up that blue buff, ping's going down, they know he's there. We do see Captain Jack coming across to maybe try and get the steal. He is pinging down. Will he get it or not? We're not going to see it because we're going to watch Ambition picking up a blue from nothing.
And look how many wards that Blaze has down in the enemy jungle right now, Demon. It is ridiculous. We see Cyanide, he takes one for the team. I love this pickup by him. He goes for an Oracle because he knows they lost their control of their own jungle. They have to gain it back somehow, and this is how they're going to do it. This is how they need to stop Blaze's aggression and turn it against them.
Well, Cyanide with that Oracle out is going to try and clear things out. It's a fairly early Oracle, but you know, he's actually responding to the times, because 16 minutes into this game, you're realizing that Blaze are just dominating. They are over the jungle, they are picking them apart, and of course with Twisted Fate zipping around as well, you need every vision you can get. Helios picking up the red buff, he's going to clear that one out. But FNATIC, what are they going to do here, Jason, to try and respond? Because they are just struggling. They need to start getting turrets, and they just can't get out of their own jungle.
Well, no matter how far behind they get, they have a Blitzcrank. That's pretty much all you have to really look at. I mean, as late as the game does go, as long as they can last, as long as they get that one crucial pull, they can easily win that fight. Like I was saying before, FNATIC, they have to gain control of their own jungle. They're doing that right now with Cyanide, and they need to potentially kill someone. Like, they have to catch someone off of Blaze, because right now they can't stop a split push. Soaz isn't strong enough at this point. Flame is just ridiculously strong, as you see right there. I mean, even Yellowstar with that red buff and only tier 1 boots on Flame, he can't even do any damage against him. So they have to somehow pick up some kills here, get some extra gold, some extra items, and prevent Flame from farming up at the same time. It's a really big task.
Cyanide's trying to get a peek on this, and you can see that they are picking up the dragon, but there's nothing they can do about it. They are going to try and gather and see if they can maybe get in to steal something. No, they're just going to stand and let Blaze take it. So the gold advantage stretches once again. 6,400 gold currently in favor of Blaze. 4-0 in turrets, 14-10 in kills. And now we see Ambition picking up, and Soaz is in trouble here. Stun card comes out, and it's going to see the wild cards going through. Hasn't got the burst to deal with him completely. And now we see Cyanide coming around. He's going to try and save the day. Stun card again. He's going to have to come in and help. No, he's been left to die. And Helios and Captain Jack are coming in to pick it up. Oh, he didn't let them have a support kill. He didn't let them. That's a bit rude.
He wants it all for himself, Demon.
No assists given.
But Cyanide, I mean, it was overall a good play by him. He tried to come in for that gank on Ambition. He put a ward down in that tri-bush, which we saw Lustboy pick up, but because of that ward, Cyanide saw 4 members actually.
Ambition's going to track him down, and Twin Shadows straight away thrown out there. He's going to get caught down. The slow card comes down as the wild card passes through, and now blue buff. Here comes Captain Jack. It's a very, very dead end rated, and well, CJ Blaze are just taking any advantage they smell.
And the story of the game right now, it's still those 4 turrets to 0 at this point. It's just the pressure that Blaze is putting on against FNATIC. It just can't be matched. You see actually a dive going on.
Flame goes aggressive, turns around, ignite down, Helios comes in, 3-talent strike, and it's another kill. Flame Just absolute demolition job from CJ Enters Blaze here, and this is going to be another turret picked up. There's no way FNATIC can stop this one. Flame is just in troll mode. He's trying to get in towards Soaz. Will he get the fling down? The turret will drop, and you can see him chasing in there. Realizes he's pulled aggression from the entire team.
And look what Xpeke has been locked into. I mean, he hasn't been able to free farm his lane. He's been really behind this entire game, even with those 3 kills. But an Abyssal Scepter and Merc Treads as his first 2 pickups, he's very squishy at this point. And Captain Jack, he has Infinity's Edge done now. He's getting very strong. You have a lot of magic damage from Singe and from Twisted Fate. That Abyssal Scepter Merc Treads isn't really going to help you in the end against that. It's going to help, obviously, with the stun card, but you need, like, Azonias. You need something to help your team. You need to be able to get in there, soak up some damage, pop the Azonias, and get your team some time to actually pick up a couple of kills and get some damage down on the Blaze.
Well, I'm not really seeing how they can turn things around here, but I guess if anyone can, FNATIC maybe can with their backdoors, tactics, but they don't have the teleports. They don't have anything really available to do that. And honestly, they don't even have a turret yet. Let's be fair. The wards get placed out there. Lustboy is on a cleaning sweep duty. Has the support of Helios following him behind as N-Rated also clears out the wards. And look at this, Helios trying to close down. Here comes Ambition. They are going to have the team finish him off though. You can see, can they catch in time? N-Rated, the mana shield's going to drop, and he does go down, and now CJ Enters Blaze, turn power, and look at that damage coming out. Cyanide goes down. Soaz came in with a stun United, but he just can't do a thing about it. Captain Jack Sparrow takes him down, and they are collapsing on again in towards the base, flipping Yellowstar. Yellowstar goes down to Ambition. Peke, the last man standing, he's going to get caught out here. He's trying to get away. He does come out, but instead he goes in towards Flame, who just turns the aggression. Lustboy will go down to the turret. It's a feeble gesture. It's an Oracle down, but it's an ace for 1 response.
And that just shows you how far FNATIC is behind at this point. They had the advantage in the initial part of the fight, but they didn't have the damage behind it. Blaze is just so tanky. They're so much higher on levels as well. Just FNATIC can't really answer. There's just no answer. I mean, they have to go for maybe a potential Baron steal, which, you know, it's Cyanide. It's always possible. He's pretty much one of the best Baron stealers in the game, but at this point, I mean, just how far behind they are, 22 to 11, 7 turrets to 0, and 40,000 gold to 29,000 gold at this point. It's very hard to come back from this position.
You know, you talk about the fact that if anyone could do it, then maybe Cyanide could, but you got to remember, this is Blaze. This is Blaze that came back from 3 inhibitors down against their rival team. I guess you could say rival team, their sister team. So, you know, they are beyond belief in terms of skill. They have it in them to really sustain. And just then you saw it, the experience they have. The fact they took the inhibitor turret down, they didn't pressure it, they didn't carry on, they didn't push too far, they let the inhibitor stand, and it's like, well, you know, we've got this game pretty much under control, let's not go too far. 10,000, well, 11,000 gold difference, and a huge gap between the two teams currently. 22 kills, 11, but that just doesn't tell the story. Despite the fact FNATIC, I think they were 5-1 up in kills at one point, have fell so far behind, it's hard to see anything coming out of this.
And that was just because of Blaze taking advantage of positioning every single time. Like the map vision that FNATIC had, they just kept invading those key points, those crucial points where FNATIC didn't have that sight. And because of that, they'd get a couple of kills and they'd start snowballing that even further. And Singe, who was in a 1v2 lane, is just dominating his counterpart in CS, in kills, in items. I mean, he even has a Twin Shadows. When you ever see a Singe get Twin Shadows? I mean, it's not a bad item, to be honest, but I've never seen a Singe pick up one of those.
I don't think I have in the European scene. Maybe the Koreans, I'm sure Monte Cristo could correct us on that one. They're trying to go aggressive on Ambition. They may well pick up a kill. They do. It's the first kill in a long time for FNATIC there. As I say that, they did pick up Lustboy in the last fight.
Well, they have to look at what can FNATIC do off of that kill. I mean, what's their next step? They can't go for Baron. I mean, well, it looks like they might try to want to, but they don't have the damage they need. They don't have the tankiness they need, and the Baron will just shred them down. You'll see Singe come in and he'll pick them all up for kills.
The thing is, they've got 22 seconds before Ambition is back. He's going to be back before they finish this because CJ Vincent's plays are going to delay them long enough. They're going to try and create something from it. Is N-Rated going to go for a hook? Lustboy is just taunting him with that Glitter Lance right now. They're turning down. The Baron taking down very low. Power Fist it. They pick up the Baron. Can they turn anything from this one? N-Rated tries to delay, but here comes Flame running around with that poison. Yellowstar, he's getting shredded. Captain Jack's going to go down. He does go down, but Yellowstar's already dropped. Cyanide's trying to come around. Peke's trying to run, but the poison's ticking away. You can see there's Flame, gets the caught, and here comes Ambition returning back for the kills. They're chasing him down. He takes down Soaz, and it's going to be an ace. It is just Cyanide backing away, but they know exactly where he is. The Glitterland's going to get fired. Cyanide's in trouble, turns it around, tries to pick up a kill on Helios, might get it. The Ignite, not quite enough, and he flashes away from this one. And the Glitterland's one more shot from Lustboy will finish him off. Can he catch him out? It doesn't matter. The Inhibitor's going down. Cyanide's running for glory, but the Inhibitor will get taken down. And as they pick up a Baron, CJ Enters Blaze respond with an Inhibitor.
Yeah, Fnatic finally got some breathing room in there by picking that up, but I've seen that before. If they even get Baron, you have Flame, who wasn't even there, comes in, just runs around you with his troll build, and just absolutely destroys you. 4-for-1 in the end. They did get a nice killing spree bonus off of Captain Jack, but it just seems like a little bit too late at this point. We do see the DFG picked up Onyx Peke. He's trying to burst someone down as quick as possible. But Blaze, I mean, even losing that Baron, picking that inhibitor is still very strong at this point.
And then we see another dragon being picked up, just to keep that gold lead at 11,000 ahead of Fnatic.
And the thing it's not even important for their gold, it's taken away from Fnatic. If you look at it that way, it's not what they're gaining, it's what Fnatic's losing, and that's the mindset they're going into. Every single jungle creep they take away, it's not extra gold. At this point, when they know they can win a head-on-head team fight, they're just strangling and suffocating Fnatic on gold as much as possible.
And you got to wonder how much this is purely CJ Enters Blaze playing so well, or whether it's Fnatic or on the tilt after losing to Millennium. You got to wonder what effect that's had on them.
I think it's at least 50-50. I mean, Blaze has been playing phenomenal. Every single fight they bait in, if you see Blaze want to fight you, you should know that there's probably 3 or 4 members coming in from the side as well to go for kills.
Peke's going to come around, see if he can get towards that red. He's good, but if he careful, throws out the Crimson Strike, but doesn't manage to catch anyone.
What's nice about this stage in the game is, with the inhibitor down, all in's going to be pushing. So you have that to look forward to. You're going to have that gold, that steady gold coming in. The problem is, if Blaze gets a big enough wave and they want to dive you into turret, they have the ability to at this point.
And they are setting themselves up. 4 members along the top. And of course, Flame continues to split push down the bottom. Soaz can't deal with him. They're going to need 5 members to try and deal with this counter in the top lane. It does mean, of course, there's the teleport from Flame, but it doesn't really matter. He doesn't care. He's just going to continue pushing, and they're going to have to deal with him. Soaz is trying to deal with the super minions in the mid lane, but here comes Flame on towards the turret. He has a siege minion with him as well. Well, the rest of Fnatic tried to cover off. Soaz is trying to deal with Flame at the moment. He's getting flung around in the poison. As it stands, the mid lane is being pressured by super minions, and this top lane is slowly but surely being sieged. Look at this. Flame actually is just on the turret still. Now he's popped his ultimate. Peke comes in, but this is going to respond to them. They should go towards the top here. You can see they're going to dive in. On the shield comes out. Is it going to be enough? They do manage to get Assault and Battery on him. He's still getting away. Peke trying to do everything they can while this is all happening. They lose the top inhibitor turret, and here comes Ambition. Turns it around. Stun card. Stand United's going to come out from Peke, but Peke goes down. Just as Soaz comes in, he still can't get out towards Flame. Ignite finally gets him down, but they are losing an inhibitor. They're losing another champion. Ambitious takes him down, and the Nexus turret's now under pressure. There's it rated going down. Helios, he turns and burns. Would you believe it? He gets away with it because Captain Jack's picked up a double and a triple, and that's going to be the game for CJ Enters Blaze as they take down the Nexus turrets in dominating fashion over Fnatic.
Very well played by Blaze right there. They were just waiting out that top lane push the entire time while Flame was just going to town on that bottom side. And even if they were going to engage upon them, they just had that amazing disengage. And Flame, you know, he's probably laughing right now because of that troll he was doing against, was it Xpeke? It was also Soaz and even Cyanide in there, and he just survived for a good portion of that.
Well, a very experienced win for CJ Enters Blaze. They were losing at the start in terms of kills, but honestly, it was a dominant performance from them, and they just completely ran over Fnatic. Let's go over to our analysis desk to see what they thought of that one. Over to Jarrett.
Thanks, Lee. Wow. CJ Enters Blaze, so strong. Second, very dominating performance of the tournament. You know, they lose first blood. What is a minute and change into the game? Blitz lands a hook. Boom. You can't ask for a better start than Fnatic got.
Draven as well, of all people.
Yeah, and ultimately, didn't matter. Just a few minutes later, the gold slid in CJ Enters' favor. They took total map control and just took over the game. Can anyone stop Blaze?
Not at the moment. It is very, very early, though, as well, to be fair. So,
still got Gambit.
Yeah, they're looking very strong. We still haven't seen a game against, Gambit esports at the moment on stage. So we'll see how that actually pans out. But for the time being, their coordination, their control, their decision-making is just, like, fantastic. Because we've seen in that matchup again, another number of questionable calls coming out of FNATIC. You know, chasing a Singed. Why do you chase a Singed? Never chase a Singed.
So many fights were just set up by Singed or facilitated there by Singed. You saw at the end, that lost the game. Like, there was a point FNATIC could have held that. They were defending mid, they nearly got him, he initiated onto Soaz, but the fact they had to expend so much to then not kill Singed lost them the top turret, lost them the top inhib, lost them the base ultimately. They reached the point as soon as as soon as Cyanide used Assault and Battery on Singed and still didn't get the kill, they knew that was over. That was it. They, like, you saw how Soaz, like, used his ult, chased him down, flashed away, just trying to get that Singed kill. That was not trying to win the game. That was, we've lost, but I'm getting this kill.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
And Joe Miller was dancing around doing his Singed dance. That was the favorite part for us.
He was mimicking Singed, his favorite champion, of course. We are going to jump into a replay. It's around about 11 or 12 minutes into the game. FNATIC are grouped up in the middle. They try to make a play happen, and they get collapsed upon. Panky, you and I were sort of watching this, and the longer the fight went on, we were sort of going, why are they doing this? Let's jump into the game and talk us through it.
Yeah, that's the thing. FNATIC's comp set around picks. They grab him one person, blow him up, grab one person, blow him up. CJ Enters, on the other hand, like team fights. They liked to engage on them, and that's exactly what they did here. FNATIC trying to push in, grab one. Helios decides, no, we're going to take this fight. He charges in, initiates, uses his ult early so he gets that magic and armor resistances on him. Singed with a great slow hits 3 people, locking FNATIC into that lane, and then Jack and Lustboy have come from top lane and are behind FNATIC. As a result, they collapse in and destroy Yellow Star. Peke is then left exposed because he had to go so deep onto Helios to try and chase him out, and they focus down onto him. They get him down so low that he dies dies just as Soaz comes in. Soaz could have cancelled his teleport here, but he was thinking, if I let it go through, will I get there before Soaz dies, get the taunt off onto 3 people, and maybe save his life? As it was so close, but ultimately Peke still died. And then Soaz got this taunt off and ended up losing his life himself.
And of course the Singed slows, they're so instrumental. Right at the beginning of the fight, that a mega adhesive on the ground slowed everybody. It allowed Zinzao to just jump on.
Perfect placement.
And again, but as soon as the cooldown comes available, he throws it over the Wraith Camp wall to slow down Soaz on the retreat. So, it was just, a textbook play. We had one more engagement around about the 23 minutes. So let me jump into that one. But I mean, what more can you say about the engagement?
I mean, there was one point we did see FNATIC use their comp exactly as they wanted to do. They caught Ambition at or just outside their own Wraith camp. They caught him in, they grabbed him in, they blew him up. Perfect. That's what they wanted. That's what they wanted all along. But it was a little bit too little too late. They were a bit indecisive. Where do we go with this? We've got that kill. We are 5v4. What do we do now? Baron. They got the Baron, but they left it that little bit too long.
Well, let's actually jump into the Baron pit. You can take a look here. I'm going to bring up the minimap so I can show you exactly where everybody is. Primarily, you've got 3 members of CJ Enters Blaze in and around the Baron pit. You, of course, have Flame moving in as quickly as possible, and about 18 seconds on the clock before Ambition has respawned and joined this party. So let's put us, in full normal speed as they take down the Baron. Enrate is doing a good job to zone, but what could they have done different yet, Benki?
Well, to start with, I want to point out, Yellow Star, very good position right now here. He's very strong, he had a lot of damage, so they got that Baron down quickly. And Rated did what he could to cause a bit of disruption and keep Helios and Lustboy and things away from the Baron, stop the smite. Did that perfectly, but Helios is now huge. Here's the problem. Yellow Star, flung by Singed, straight out into the river, exposed and destroyed. Captain Jack leaps over Cyanide, starts hitting onto Yellow Star, does lose his life very quickly afterwards, but Peke was in the back of that Baron pit for more or less the entire first 2-3 minutes of that fight because he had no mana. He couldn't do anything, he just had to sit back there and wait. Regen a little bit of mana because he had the blue buff. Once it did come up, he was able to come out and blow up Captain Jack, but they've blown so much on that Baron, on the kill the Wraiths, they weren't really in a position where they were strong enough to fight, and as you said, they just had the respawn coming from Twisted Fate. Ambition had just got there perfect. He had that teleport, he came in. Singed, beautiful fling, as I said, put Yellow Star out of position. And Captain Jack was just free to do whatever he wanted. He could have survived that fight, but he leapt into it because he could.
Do you think it was the right decision for FNATIC to stick around in the Baron pit when they seen 2 or 3 members of Blaze around there? Should they have backed off?
At the speed they were doing the Baron, yes, they got the Baron done. They had that in their head. However, they maybe needed an extra 5 seconds on Ambition's death timer, and then they'd have been able to take that 5v4, pick up 2 or 3, and escape. As it was, they couldn't quite fight 5v4. They were just a little bit too low for the Baron. He did get back right at the perfect point to clean it up, and that was all she wrote, basically. They couldn't really come back from the game at that point, but despite the fact they had the lane swap, Singed was 2v1, there was the first blood on Draven. Flames Singed phenomenal. The fact that he was still so strong, still so powerful against the first blood Draven, whose early level 1, 2, 3 damage is ridiculous. I mean, we saw against FNATIC actually in LCS. Yeah.
FNATIC went, we're not going to go with the 2v2 lane. They put them up top and they tried to do a lane swap against Singed.
Yeah, exactly. And Singed is still just saying, well, I don't care. I'm just going to keep farming. I'm still going to get strong. So couldn't have been a better start. You mentioned it earlier, how that first blood onto Draven, perfect start as far as FNATIC is concerned. They did look like a bit more of a team there than they did against Millennium. A little bit more cohesion. They got some more of their favourite champions, Vi's, the Blitzcranks. They're all there, but CJ and Blaze, they're just too well prepared, too well practiced.
Well, up next, they're playing Gambit Gaming, a game that earlier we talked this morning, we're all very, very excited to see. I think if anyone can stop them in this group, it's going to be Gambit. You know, they crushed through FNATIC, they crushed IEM, but we'll see if Gambit can stop them. Before we get to that game, we're going to go back to the stage where Shox has one of these super duper awesome pro gamers with her for an interview.
I'm here with the Helios from Blaze. Now, Helios, what was the main weakness of FNATIC? How did you take them down?
뭐였는지요? 페나틱 쪽에서.
프나틱 선수들 되게 잘하지만 아무래도 수아즈 선수의 라인전이 조금 약해서 저희가 상대할 때 조금 쉬웠던 것 같아요.
Well, Fnatic overall is a really good team with really amazing players, but he thinks that the laning was kind of their weaknesses, so that's why they kind of won easily.
You obviously trained a lot. You have a lot to watch from the LCS. What would you consider as one of the differences between playstyles between Europe and Korea right now?
지금 요즘 유럽이나 NA에서 LCS 하고 있잖아요. 그래서 지금 거기서 유럽 팀들 많이 보면서 게임 보면서 할 수 있는데 한국 팀이랑 외국 팀이랑 틀린 점이 뭔지요?
일단 한국 팀과 외국 팀의 다른 점은 한국 팀은 되게 조금 따라가는 스타일이에요. 되게 남이 먼저 만들어 놓은 거를 따라가서 되게 그거를 더 단단하게 만드는 스타일인데 유럽 팀 같은 경우에는 되게 좀 독창적이에요, 플레이가. 그래서 먼저 앞서 나가서 되게 창조적인 플레이를 많이 해서 경기를 되게 눈여겨봐요.
But the difference is that actually the Koreans, they're kind of the catch-up country, so they see something and they just try to improve it and make it better and make it perfect. And the Europeans are the most innovative country, so they try to use threads on whatever, and Korea, they just catch up.
Another team that's also innovating is Gambit. You're going up against them next. Is that the team you fear most in this tournament?
지금 다음 판 게이밍이랑 하는 건데요. 갬빗 게이밍 제일 어려울 건지 아니면 누가가 제일 어려운 상대인지.
일단 제가 생각하는 가장 어려운 팀은 CJ 프로스트라고 생각하고 일단 갬빗도 정말 강력해요. 일단 저희가 많이 졌기 때문에 이번에는 정말 한번 이겨볼 생각으로 준비하고 왔거든요. 이번엔 충분히 잡을 수 있을 거라 생각해요.
Well, for them, the strongest opponent is their other team, CJ Frost. But I mean, they lost against Gambit so pretty often, so right now they're here to prove themselves that they can win against them.
Thank you very much to both of you. Now, Blaze is going to be taking on Gambit in the next game, so we're immediately going to see what they are worth. After the break, Blaze versus Gambit.